Hi guys, I'm going to be working on my February currently gratitude dump page. So I've got things sort of laid out of what I'm going to do. I already put down some paper here, glued those down. I got a sticker here, and I'm just gonna go. So this was one of the first things that I pulled here, and I was looking at it like, why does it have to be a snake that says love? So it was in a book, a children's illustration book that I picked up at Goodwill before I woke up, and I started looking at it after, and it had all these symbolism signs of Baphomet, the as above, so below symbol. Once you kind of learn the occult symbols, you start to see them everywhere. The snake, for example. And I looked this guy up, and his name, Richard Scary, Dick Scary, and that's the thing, they mock you. He's part of the world script. Like, these things are inserted into our culture, and they've been right in front of us this whole time, but we don't know what we're looking at. Like, when you start to realize that the TV is the television that you're being programmed as you're watching your channels, and that the news is scripted, and it's been all planned out by the numbers, by gematria, like how it mentions in the Bible, how they found the 666. They're still using that today. I think I'm going to do this one. So, news is all coded by the numbers, and that's because Satan has had 1,000 years in the bottomless pit to plan this all out. And the world script plays out in the movies. And I was a kid who grew up on the movies, like, and I always wondered, like, everything was strange in the movies, especially like music videos from the 80s. Oh my gosh, that is so full of symbolism. And is that how I want to do it? Oh, I want this to be up more. So the movies are full of the world script. If you want to know what's going on in the world, you figure out what all the symbolism is, what's been there this whole time. And from the time we were kids, I mean, we've been watching it play out. We just haven't known what it means. So, one of my favorite YouTubers, he's C3POS Golden Calf. I think that's from Star Wars. I really am not. We came from a girl house, not a boy house. So, Star Wars doesn't really mean a lot to me, although that is one of the big world script movies with richly symbolic, which I haven't watched TV in a long time. Probably since since I got divorced, since I was like 37. I mean, I lived on TV. That was my indoctrination of choice, you know? I loved my shows. Now that I know what I'm looking at, gives me the creeps. But he's really good. He focuses a lot on the Mandela effect. I'm like chilly. It's kind of cold in here. He focuses a lot on the Mandela effect, which I haven't. I know that that's real, but I haven't quite committed to or researched, what I think it means, or it's still a work in progress. I get hyperfixations, and when God leads me down a rabbit trail, I go all in and figure it out, and that's just not one that he's called me to yet. I mean, this guy, when I started binging his videos on the Mandela effect, and he does a lot with that, has good evidence to show, and I know it's real. I mean, there are things clearly that I remember that have changed, but what I like those videos he does. What I really like is he does these lives going over the world script in the movies and all the symbolism and how it relates to the Bible and the little season that, well, I'm not sure if he's exactly a little seasoner. And little seasoner is believing that we are in the times where Christ has returned, when he said he was going to the first century, and we are later in the biblical prophetic timeline in Revelation 27 through 8. After Satan's been loosed from the bottomless pit he was in there for 1,000 years. He was loosed, and he's here to deceive the nations. And the nations certainly are deceived, and there's mountains of evidence for all that. Yeah, those are, I mean, that's everywhere. But that's why learning the symbolism is so crucial, really. At first, when you're first starting to wake up, I mean, I'm onto much deeper and darker things now, and ways to tell who's real and who's not. But we'll save those. Those are darker rabbit trails. We'll save those for later. But yeah, I would check him out. He's I like him a lot, and he's interesting. But I've always been a conspiracy kid. You know, I always knew something weird was happening. Like, I was the kid who found out all the Disney, like, weird Disney things. And I had those. So, like, the Little Mermaid cover where there's a penis on it. I used to bring all the kids over to see those things, and the Lion King where, you know, he falls and it has insects and the dust that shows up. And the Wizard of Oz, The Hanging. We had that cassette. So, yeah, I guess I've been into all this stuff for a really long time. Or God has made me, you know, aware. I don't know. But the symbolism is rich. And it is everywhere. Once you have eyes to see. And pray for discernment. That you will know what you're looking at. You're not going to have spells cast on you. Pray for protection. And that looks pretty good. I'll talk to you later. Bye.